Welcome back to On the Daily. This is your host, Danielle. In this episode, I got to interview my dear friend and my colleague, Christy Dreiling. Listen, y'all, Christy is such a force, okay? She's a podcast host. She's a health coach. She's a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur. She's an author. She's a creative. She's a spiritual spotter. She is so much more. And in this episode, we really do chat about everything from spirituality to healing trauma to building brands and businesses from a spiritual perspective. We chat about everything. We talk about family. We talk about relationships. And I just know that you're going to love every single part of it, especially if you are like me and you believe that everything we do is connected. Our business is connected to our home life, is connected to our friendships, is connected to our relationships. I just know that you are going to love this episode. Christy is such a wealth of knowledge and she's so wise and she's just such an incredible human. And I don't just say that because she's one of my best friends. I also say that because I really respect her as a leader in this space. So buckle up because you're in for such a treat. I know you're going to absolutely love this episode. Hey friend, welcome to On the Daily. I'm your host, Danielle McCleary, and I am a quantum business coach. I'm the host of this podcast. I'm a multi-six-figure entrepreneur, co-founder and president of Hype You Media, and CEO of Danielle on the Daily Coaching. What I'm really interested in is helping you live a life and have a business that is a full body yes. So through all of my education and all of my experience, I'm bringing you 2 episodes a week where I will guide you and give you the tools necessary to scale a massive, sustainable, and sexy business using your intuition, wealth energetics, and human design. What we can call it is business biohacking. So if you're down for that, then I say let's frickin' go. I'm so glad you're here. My friends, I have quite a treat for you. And if you have been following me for a while, then you probably also know this little saucy minx. We got Christy Dreiling on the podcast today. Hi, friend.
Hey, baby. How are ya?
I'm so good. I'm so happy we're doing this. Guys, we've been talking about this for so long, like so long, and we're finally doing it. And it just feels so good because I think just like we're both at very similar stages right now. I think like spiritually, emotionally, professionally, all the things. And it just, timing is everything. So it's actually the perfect time.
Yeah, it's perfect. Is because I have all these Sagittarius men in my life. I needed one powerful Sag woman and I got her wrapped up in a bow. You are it.
You got me. And, she is wrapped up in a bow. The bow has like spikes on it sometimes, but it's a bow nonetheless.
All right. I'm so used to Sages, man.
So, okay. You already know how I feel about you, but just so everybody who's listening can know how I feel about you, like you're not only are you one of my dearest friends, but you also are you've always been such a mentor to me, just in general, just the way that you think and the way that you speak and the way that your mind works and just all the things that you know and your experiences. And just everything that's led you to who you are today, which is this like shining beacon of power and light and hope for so many people. And I know you've said to me recently, like you really feel like you are stepping into your like true dharma, your true calling. But obviously there's been a lot of chapters of Christy. So just kind of like, where are you at today? And like, when you think about your journey, like how far have you come? Like where, and you can go back as far as you want, but I just like to hear like lessons along the way. Like that's what I really love to talk about. It's like anybody can tell the story of I was once this and now I'm this, but we don't often talk about the lessons learned. We don't often talk about like, you know, the things that people don't like to talk about, but you and I talk about those things a lot. So I just want to know, like, where are we at? Where are we at and where did we come from?
Well, once I usually state where I'm at, I'm usually wrong. I always think, oh, this is where I'm at. Oh, no, that's really not where I was at. So
Same.
I'm like, where am I? What planet am I on again? What's happening? But I think at this stage of my life, Danny, I'm just, I'm working so diligently to just be present and enjoy my life. Because it's always been this pursuit of something outside of myself. And there's that balance, right, of not wanting to to lose that creative juice, that flow, that beauty that resides in all of us. It's breath, it's air, but then being able to still really enjoy what I've created, right? Because I'm always trying to get to the next place, the next thing. And then, I feel, the divine is just saying, girl, you're actually living the dream you always wanted to live, and you're not even enjoying
it. Ooh, yeah. Real. That's real.
It's real. It's real. I've learned how to do a lot of things well and how to do a lot of things wrong. I guess wrong, but I'm just learning who I am truly with not needing to, take care of children anymore because they're all grown and they're all raised, and
hottest grandma ever.
Thank you.
She knows it. Did you hear the coyness? And then she's like, ha, 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 ha. Thank you. I know. I'm aware.
Thank you. Well, when everybody stops saying that, man, I'm really going to have an ego crush. No, just no, but yeah. So, just, it's a different stage. People used to say when the kids are grown, your life changes. And I'm like, nope, that's not going to be me. No, I'm going to have my shit together because I'm doing all this work. And it wakes you up differently.
Well, you've been an entrepreneur for how long? How many years?
I'd probably say 25.
Yeah.
25. And I was a fashion photographer, a model, and an actress before I got into, owning my own networking business. But
even photography, modeling, acting, like that still has entrepreneurial qualities. Like, I think a lot of people miss that is like, when I was dancing professionally, like that you have to know how to market yourself. That's where you learn brand.
Yeah. That was, I mean, you could go all the way back to age 12. I mean, I was knocking on doors in a little bitty country town in Kansas with my mom when I was 12 years old. Every day after school, she had her light blue station wagon. Cute. And she was smoking her ciggy in the car with the windows rolled up. And, I'd go up to the doors asking for money so I could be in a beauty pageant. And what's beautiful about that memory was that that's how I learned how to take rejection, because, I had a Folgers can and people would give me $5 here, $15 here, and someone just slammed the door on my face, and I'd have dogs humping my leg and sprinkler systems going on. So it was like, that was the first taste of entrepreneurship, really how to handle rejection. And my mom would just, really get into my face and say, if you want this, we're going to go to every single door in our town until we get enough money for you to be in that pageant. So that, so I guess I've been an entrepreneur since as long as I can remember.
Yeah. And, I think about I have not been an entrepreneur for 25 years, but one thing I can say is when I started in entrepreneurship, like truly owning my own business, I took a lot of those patterns and those traumas from being a child, and they really just transferred into the way that I started to build businesses. Just like a lifetime of captain of the dance team, straight A student, has to always make sure that everyone else is okay, and working hard and praised for it. Like all of those things, all of those beliefs about what success looks like, just based on what I saw around me, what was being praised in myself, the way I saw my dad work. I mean, my dad was a CFO for my whole life and would always just talk about retirement as if it was this far off dream. And he died at 64, he never even got to retirement. Right. So it's I grew up with those, that was my view of success. And so then when I made the jump into entrepreneurship, it was on paper, it was great, and I was just perpetuating all of those beliefs, all of those traumas, and just transfer. It's like they say, addiction doesn't go away. It just transfers. And that was so true for me. And I want to know, throughout the years, how much learning and unlearning have you had to do in that same vein?
Oh my God, I still am. I was just telling someone the other day, I remember probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I was this was before I went through my divorce, and another huge Christy crash will be in the next book. But I remember feeling like such a saint. I was like, oh my gosh, I've done so much work. I feel so much love. I just love everybody.
Yeah.
I was just walking around I love you, and I love you. And the universe is we're going to show her. Let's see how much love really is going to feel. And I literally went from that penthouse to the outhouse so freaking fast and flat on my face and climbing. I've just climbed myself right back out of really learning how to handle adversity differently, as things would happen and I wasn't equipped and I wasn't prepared for when things would happen. Right. I didn't understand that that's the cycles of life.
Yeah.
I just thought if I heal this stuff and I keep growing and I keep becoming a better person, then guess what? I'm not going to have the same stuff keep appearing.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a lie. I mean, it was wrong. So
like you can dust your house. You can dust your house once, but that dust is coming back if you don't keep dusting.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I somehow missed that class in school.
Yeah. I don't know if that one was taught. I think purposely that class is not taught in school.
That was not taught. So
yeah. It's so purposely true. That's not taught.
Right. Yeah. Keep his little zombies. But so that's what I've now it's like, oh, here that comes again. All right. So now, I think I shared with you, Danny, the other day, this last couple of weeks, I had 4 things that just boom, boom, boom. And they were big things, you know, like I had landed a feature role in a feature film. So that was, one of the things I was marking off my list. I was super excited for. Well, that fell through, after they had announced it already. It was like, okay, that one's gone. Oh, another thing. Oh, another thing. Oh, and it was like, excuse me. Beep, that one out. I'm like,
you can cuss on this show.
Okay, great. I was like, oh my God. Okay. The old Christy would have been like, it would have taken me out.
Yeah.
It would have taken me out for a while. And I would have been like, I can't trust. Oh my God, who can I freaking trust that are going to do what they say they're going to do and follow through? This time it was like, oh, bigger blessings coming in, making room for something bigger. I mean, I may have had a moment, but it was like, something bigger is coming in, something bigger. And I allowed myself a moment of that emotion. So I allowed it. So I wasn't stuffing it.
Yeah.
But then it was like, okay, all right, game on.
Yeah. Game on. How did that feel? Like, because obviously like in the past, like you said, it would have just like taken you out. And I'm assuming that means like that's connected to like past patterns of like self-sabotage and just like getting rejection and not feeling like enough. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but clearly you've worked through that and you have like a whole program coming out about this. So we're going to talk about that also. Good segue, D. On that note, Danielle must be a podcast host or something. She must really know how to segue. Wow. But no, but like what did that feeling that you just talked about, that one where you're like, oh, there that feeling is again. And this is like what I try to convey all the time is the more work you do on yourself, like we said, you don't get, it's not like triggers don't happen. It's not like this stuff doesn't come up. It's that you get better at moving through it. It's that you have the awareness and the discernment and like the tools in your belt to not let it become a problem. Where in the past, and I think for so many people, self-sabotage, fear, rejection, all these things are literal they stop us. They just stop you in your tracks and then you feel analysis paralysis. So I really want to talk about that feeling. Like, how does that feel though now when you have all these 4 things at once, 4 big things at once, and you're able to like feel it, process it, and move through? What's that feel like?
I've been on a massive spiritual journey my whole life. So I study, that's at the core of my, my strength and just truly learning how to trust in the divine, whatever the divine means to you. It's that ability to really reflect on the fact that everything, whether it be good, whether it be something that appeared to not be good, was actually all fucking incredible. And it made me this woman I am today. Everything. There's not the only entity, the only energy I have ever been able to fully trust has been the divine.
Yeah.
And so why should I question then? Oh, these characters showed up. They showed up when they did. They provided this excitement or this energy or this, this story that I bought into. Beautiful, wonderful, whatever it did. It had a purpose. There was a seed planted. Whatever that was, beautiful.
Yeah.
And that just must mean now that the universe has some bigger plans. And that's the story that I'm choosing to believe in, because that's the reality. That's actually the truth.
Right.
And people, I think we forget that. We think we're all alone, and we're looking for everything outside of us or outside to validate us, to validate that we're on the right track, to validate that we're worthy, to validate that we're enough. All of the validation is never going to be enough.
No.
Never. You can get your lips done, your ass done, your boobs done. You can go to as many trainings as you want. You can make as much money as you want. But at the end of the day, it's never going to be enough until you can recognize who you truly are. That's the work.
Yeah.
What brings joy?
Yeah.
What really brings you joy?
Yeah.
Right?
Like not just like the instant gratification, the quick cash, the like, little hits of dopamine, like the things like your dharma, like your soul's purpose. Like, what does that look like?
Oh, sis, that's the work. That is work.
Yeah.
Because I remember starting in my entrepreneurial journey, and I had little kids, and I was so in fight or flight mode my entire life.
You play on the defense constantly.
Forever. I mean, I didn't know my life without knowing how to be achieving something. At 10 years old, I stopped being a kid.
Yeah, same.
I stopped being a kid at 10.
Yeah, same.
Was like, and that's what I was telling someone the other day. My current partner, Gonzalo, we were attracted to each other because he knows how to have fun.
Yeah.
And he knows how to have so much fun.
Yeah.
That I'm just, dude, we need to be responsible and let's meet in the middle somewhere. So he shows
spoken
me
like a true Aries. There she is, spoken like a true Aries. She's like, we need to be responsible. I like fun, but not too much fun.
Yeah, I'm trying, I'm sliding out of Aries. So it's like that being able to learn how to dance with life. Yeah. When you've been conditioned your whole life to be a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, who am I truly, really, without all of these medals or these actions?
Right. I was talking about this today. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen like the MRR course going around, that like digital marketing course? There's like this digital marketing course going around the internet where basically this couple, I think, created it, and it's like 90 modules all about digital marketing, and you can buy it. But the kicker is you get master resell rights with it. So you can buy it and then turn around and resell it. So people are making like hundreds of thousands of dollars from selling these other people's course. And I'm like, would I buy that? No, of course not. Like, I have a course called Zero to Launch that literally teaches you digital marketing and how to start a business. So like, that would not be good for my business. Do I think it can like cheapen an industry? Yeah, I do. I think it can cheapen an industry. And I kind of have this, I woke up this morning with peace. And I didn't always wake up with peace. And peace was always my goal. And I didn't even know what peace looked like. I really don't think I'd ever experienced peace. And what I've come to realize is that peace for me, I used to wake up with anxiety, and this was like when I was on paper killing it. Like, we're talking like $15,000 to $20,000 a month, like killing it. But I was always worried that the other shoe was going to fall. I was constantly worried I wasn't doing enough. I was constantly looking outside of myself for validation that I was on the right path. I was looking to see what everyone else was doing, trying to be like so distracted from like what I was actually interested in. And that cycle just kept going. So I was so disconnected from my soul, like truly what lit my soul on fire. And what I've come to realize is peace is just really knowing who I am, what I stand for, what I don't stand for. And I tell people, like, you could make all the money in the world, but if if your soul is not aligned with it, it's never going to feel good. It's just never going to feel good. And eventually it will come crashing down, because ultimately everything we do causes resonance or dissonance in our body. And if it causes resonance, do more of it. If it causes dissonance, sure, some discernment is necessary, because dissonance could just be like temporary fear because you're leveling up, of course. Or dissonance could truly just be that that is not what your soul wants. And if you are doing something, like if you want to sell this course, like this is kind of what I was talking with clients. I'm like, if you want to sell this course and that lights your soul on fire and you feel in your soul that this is what you are meant to do, then by gosh, do it. However, if it's coming from a place of, I need money, I need quick cash, I need this validation that it's working, like, and it's coming from this place of stress and anxiety. And I always do this when I'm on where I'm like, I pretend like everyone's watching me and nobody can see me. I'm shaking my hands in like a very stressed out way right now. But if you're living like that, you're living your life in this defensive mode, which is not soul. And that is why I'm like, I woke up with peace today. So because I wake up with peace in the morning, I don't need to get distracted by things that are not for me. I don't need to get distracted by conversations that are not for me. I don't need to be distracted by other people's projections about anything. And that, I think, is the work. Like, I think you're right. That is the work. And it's not something you can just do once and put on a shelf. And I think a lot of people try to do that. They're like, oh, I did that. Right. But you did that at that level. Have you done it at this one? You haven't done it at this one. You haven't done it at the next one.
Yeah.
So I love that you say that.
I've really been working hard to be curious, to challenge my perceptions,
your own beliefs,
my own beliefs, because I'll tell you, I literally used to think I was probably, especially in my community, I was the black sheep. I was one of the ones that was more open, more.
We've talked about this, you and I both. Yeah. Like this was our badge of honor, that we were the black sheep.
The black sheep. And then then once I'm hanging out with all the black sheep, I'm realizing, wow, I'm not a black sheep. I'm not a black sheep. Like, I really do have these beliefs, or these walls, or these projections, these things that I need to look at that I have never looked at before. And also looking, I love the word discernment, and assessing, is this what feeds my soul? Is this not what feeds my soul? Does this soul feed my soul? Do I feed their soul? Is this healthy? Is this not healthy? And does this company, idea, vision match and align with what I'm feeling and what I'm creating? Can I be proud of that or not? Like, there's more there was such this program of, I have to, like, I have to, I'm responsible. I have to,
right.
They expect me to, I should.
Fear of letting people down, like fear of all of that. Yeah.
It's been, all these expectations that were just squeezing, the life force from me. And so I really had to learn, like, my partner's from Argentina. So going into that culture and even, staying there for a month when I've stayed with them, we're going to go back there in a couple of months, and just watching the joy and the happiness that they have in their culture. Genuine. I'm talking genuine
joy. Yeah. Not forced
joy.
Yeah. Not from dopamine from scrolling your phone all day, just pure joy.
Pure. Like at first, when I first started dating him, I didn't trust it, because I'm like, okay, wait, how can you be this? Like, how? Like, I thought I was happy, but I don't, like, are you on something all the time?
Right.
And so then I was exposed to another world and recognized how sad we are here in our culture. Like, literally, we hardly converse with our communities anymore.
Right.
We're not with each other, like, doing block parties, or, it's always people comparing, competing. I'm not enough. I need to get to the next. I need to do this. I love how you teach, because you always teach it in a healthy way. Like self-empowerment, standing in your strength, owning your power, taking it to the next level without losing who you are, be more of who you are. And that's what you stand for, is you teach people how to be more of who they are, and then tap into receiving in that divine feminine energy what you're worth.
Right. Well, and then you get to tap into the collective in a deeper way, because like, if you know yourself really, really well, then you kind of detach yourself from belief a little bit, right? Like you get to kind of detach from belief. Like, I'm running my race. I'm not going to stop running my race. But if you like want to crawl or jog next to me, like you can jog, I'll run. Like, we're good. We are good, because I trust that like the goal is not that you run at the same speed as me. The goal is that we get there. And however we get there is fine, as long as that is not causing distraction. And I think that's where we get lost, is like, you got the runner telling everybody to run. You got the jogger telling everybody to jog. And then everybody else is like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? And now we're not moving forward. Right. And like, what is it? The Kabbalah states, Elohim, all of us or none of us. Like, it's not one of us or not. Like, we don't just get to pick and choose who gets to make it. Like, either we're all going or we're not. But I think what a lot of people get, and I used to be like this, is I used to think what that meant is that I had to bring everybody with me.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the savior syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like, I can't let people down. I have to be the one. We see this a lot in like religion too. It's like this belief of like, I have to be the one, like I have to bring people with me. And it's like, or what if you're only meant to bring the people with you who are meant to come with you?
Yeah. And you know, what's interesting, I was talking to my spiritual mentor last week, and I was having some challenges with some, let's just say some family. And, it's been a cycle for as long as I can remember. There is so much pain in the family unit that everyone's had their own trauma and their pain, and nobody's known really how to heal it. Right.
Yeah.
It's so heavy.
Yeah.
So I told my mentor, I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've tried so much with what I could do, physically. I've given 100% physical effort and 100% spiritual effort. What do you do at that point? I said, do you keep on? She's like, you know what, sis, you just have to keep loving. You just have to keep loving. So I don't think they'll ever listen to this, because they don't know who you are. So I could just share, because it's going to be valuable for people. But one of my family members and another family member, they just don't talk at all. They don't talk. And it's very hurtful for both parties. Of course. And so, it's just perpetuating. And so I put this group text together, and I added everybody to it. And I said, listen, if you don't want to be in it, just let me know if you don't want to be in it. But here's the rules. No one's going to talk about the past. We're not going to talk about the pain, and we're not going to gang up on anybody. The goal is every single week, we're going to highlight one of each of you. And that person, we're going to just talk about, all of us are going to pour the love into that person and share our favorite memories with them, what we loved most about them. And if you don't want to be a part of it, just let me know right now and I'll take you out. Everybody stayed. And after the first week, there were so many tears, so many people just feeling so high in love for now you could feel the relationships being born again, right? You can feel the trust coming forth. And I'm getting all kinds of messages from each of them saying, oh my God, I'm in tears. I can't believe this. This is a miracle. And I share this because it was a risk. It was a big risk. I was
huge risk.
Putting it out there one more time, right? Putting effort in to only be, maybe get crushed again by whatever. But it's like, no, you know what? We're all big girls. Let's put our big girl panties on and let's just give it everything we've got. And the point of me telling you this is that it's so easy to focus on the things that we don't like or what's not working in our lives or in the lives of others. But when we can truly go to that state of like, you know what? They're doing the best that they can with what they've got right now.
Yes.
What right now? Who am I to judge it? Who am I to project onto them?
Mm-mm.
I am going to focus on what I love, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send that vibration to them,
Yeah.
that energy to them.
Yeah.
And when we send that energy, that, oh my God, energy, you are fucking incredible energy. I love you. That changes. They feel it.
They feel it.
Always.
Always.
They feel it. But this is where we have so much power. All of your listeners right now, they're a mirror of you.
Yep.
They are attracted to you because you are their teacher. You are the same. They have the power to be with you.
Yep.
So with that being said, this immense power that can change the world as you do, imagine taking that power and being able to send that frequency, that love, that energy into every single soul that we have an issue with. Every single soul we have a problem with. And if we focus on it every day, not only are you going to heal them,
but
you're going to heal
yourself. Yeah. Yeah, because love, that's medicine. It. Well, that's medicine. And it really proves that like love as we know it is not like people. I think the misconception about love is that in order to be loved, you have to be understood, and you don't. And when you understand yourself and when you know yourself and when you love yourself, you're not seeking for it outside, which means that you're going to be able to receive it better. Instead of trying to get everybody to love you the way you need to be loved, you can just receive the love that somebody is able to give you based on the resources that they currently have. And it creates peace. Like it really does. And, everyone always is like, I don't know how you have such you hang out with like so many diverse groups of people. And I'm like, well, because I'm not looking for anything in them. I'm not looking for them to validate. Anything in myself.
You're so interesting. I mean, that would be like, oh, I'm only going to eat Italian food.
Right.
Well, that would be boring.
Right. Or going to a Mexican food place and being like, hi, I want spaghetti.
Yeah. Right.
We don't serve spaghetti. I don't know what to tell you. Well, that's what I want. And in order for me to feel like you care about me as a customer, I need you to serve me spaghetti. No. That's not how it works.
Because to really grow to our ultimate spiritual level is to actually be able to hang out with people that are completely opposite than us 100%. And be good with
100%.
To actually be like, oh.
One of my best friends is the most conservative Christian faith you will ever meet. And she's one of my dearest friends. And I adore that girl. I don't need her to understand me. I don't need to understand her. What we agree on is that there is mutual love between us. And I support and I respect everything she is. She respects and supports everything I am, even if we don't share each other's lifestyles. It's not hard when you actually just release the need to be right. When you release the need to be right, it's not hard.
And that's such the ego and guys, we all do it.
Of course we do.
I'm constant. I mean, I teach this stuff and it's hard for me.
Oh yeah. Well, it's really easy for me to teach it.
Yeah, but practicing it, and it's I remember Oprah asked Gary Zukav on Super Soul Sunday one day. So Gary, and I love Gary. He's a dear friend of mine, one of the most beautiful souls you'll meet. And he, when you meet him in person, he is the same person he is on Oprah. Beautiful soul. And Oprah said, so Gary, do you practice everything that you preach in your books? And he starts laughing. He's like, oh gosh, it's so much easier to teach this stuff than it is, to actually be it. And he said, I have to every single day, I have to constantly remind myself. And I think so many people, if they mess up, they beat themselves up and they think, oh my God, when am I ever going to learn? Am I ever going to figure this out? Am I ever going to be I've had that, girl, I could walk on a stage in front of 16,000 people and kill it and feel like, oh my gosh, yes, I just changed 16,000 lives. And I felt this power, this energy. And then, you know, over the last few years, I was on a freaking shit show roller coaster. And there were times like I didn't even want to come out of my own little bubble.
Yeah.
I was inside of myself, doing the inner child work, looking at myself, reflecting on this. And like that is okay too.
Yeah.
I think that so many people are afraid to go in and do that work because they think they're never going to come out of it.
Right. Well, because we in our minds, it took us however many years to fuck ourselves up. So, you know, it's like, oh, well, it's like, oh gosh, do I really want to like go within and spend that much time? But I think what people miss is like, it doesn't take as long to unfuck yourself as it did to fuck yourself. Like it really doesn't.
It's good. That was good right there. That was good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Copyright.
Tell me though, because you have a course coming out all about self-sabotage. Like you have this whole thing that you're building, right?
Yeah, it's built. And I'm so excited. It's built, baby. The videos are done. It is built.
When is it launching?
So check out. Is this not beautiful? This is the workbook that goes with it. It's 100 and some page workbook.
Does that say spiritual guru?
This is spiritual gym workbook.
Spiritual gym workbook. Got it. I thought that said guru. Spiritual gym. That's the name of the course, right?
So the name of the course is self-sabotage, but the intention every single day, people will go to spiritual gym with me, just like they go to the normal at their body. It is everything to make sure you go to the spiritual gym every single day. Yep. And so I go in as people spotters to help them look at their life in a different way, a more higher way, a more spiritual way. Because if you do that, everything else will flow. Yeah. Everything else will fall in place. Yeah. It's when we're so focused on, the what we can touch, what we can see.
Totally. Well, that's why a lot of people avoid the spiritual work, is because it's not it doesn't often come with instant gratification. It doesn't, it honestly like gets fucking painful before it gets less painful. Like there's, being a mirror. I mean, you and I have talked about this a lot, like being a mirror for people around me that, means that some relationships have been lost, or like fights have happened, or, there's been uncomfortable moments between me and family members, me and friends, me and coworkers, me and colleagues, whatever it is. It's like, that is not comfortable. It actually sucks. And, I think that's why a lot of people stay, is because the idea of like licking the wound is easier than healing it, because at least leaving the wound means that like they know how to do that. That's like safe. That's safe. Perpetuating the wound is safe, but to heal it is unknown and it's scary. And I think that's why a lot of people avoid it. Yeah. I mean, I think, go ahead.
No. You were in a deep thought there. You go into it.
Well, no, I just keep thinking about this course that you're going to put out. And I'm like, how perfect is this? Because you already have this like beautiful way of connecting with other humans in a way that helps people. I think this is a gift. And, I think you and I share this gift, is like, you don't just see people, because that's not that impressive. Like to truly see people is not that impressive. You teach people to see themselves. And that is why you have had success that you've had. That is why you have the relationships you have. And it's because you're not here to perpetuate blind spots. You're not here to like hold people like they're fragile birds. You're here to truly help people see themselves, because when we all see ourselves and we all love ourselves and we all stop that story in our heads of we're not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, that's where growth can happen. That's where true love can happen. That's where the best sex of your life can happen. That's where the most money you've ever made can happen. That's where that space exists. So I think this program is going to be fucking awesome.
Thanks, babe. Yeah. It's taken me 20 years to figure out the algorithm to unpack the shit that's causing so much of that disturbance from keeping us from that next level love. Yep. And there are literally, I like, this is one of honestly my most, I would say I've taught thousands of hours to people over 20 some years of do this and don't do this, but literally are some of my most prized secrets that I'm sharing with them regarding like, how did I attract the love of my life? How did I attract? There was a specific thing that I learned from Bob Proctor. Yeah. That I did that attracted that. How did I attract a business that produced $1 billion in sales in 20 years? Okay, I'm teaching that in this self-sabotage course as well. But in order to get to all of that, we have to get into the frequency, which means we have to dissect the frequency that isn't working, that's still, it's the plumbing is clogged, and we have to get that out.
Yeah.
And so in order to be ready, like I have no doubt, like I feel so certain, and which feels exciting, because when I went into this, I was like, I have so much I wanted to put so much into it. And the guys that were helping create it, they're like, Christy, you're giving them so much. And I'm like, I know, but because I want them to see results. They will see results. If I give it. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have to stop at some point, because this content, there's a lot of content.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. And whoever is going to take the course, their life will change, 100% change.
100% change. Yeah. Well, it's just because it's like going to the gym, right? Like you could do it alone and just go to the gym and like try to figure out the machines, which we've all done it. It sucks, but like we've all done it. And like that is a path. And I feel like you did that. I did that. Yes, I enlisted help. I took, I've been with lots of different mentors. You've been with mentorship and gurus and spiritual guides your whole life. But essentially, a lot of this you figured out alone. And you said the last 20 years culminated into one course. So it's like, you can I tell my clients this all the time. I'm like, listen, I'm not saying that you can't do this work without me. Like I do not put myself on that pedestal. Like you fully can, because I did. Now you can choose that, or you can just enlist support from someone who has done it, and kind of, that's what they mean by quantum leap. You shrink the amount of time it's going to take you to figure it out because you have a spotter.
But Dan, there even goes that is so deep, and it goes let's go a little bit deeper, because just to be the influence of someone who's doing it changes your vibration.
100%.
That, like, when I'm with my mentors who are literally levels beyond where I'm now, like these people, wow.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many miracles come into my life just to be in their frequency.
Yeah.
Yes. You literally get the content. Content's great. Pay for the frequency. Pay to get into the frequency.
I mean, think about it. People pay for proximity. They don't pay like you could watch pretty much Taylor Swift's or Beyonce's entire concert, probably on some video somewhere. It's probably recorded, but there's a reason why people pay thousands of dollars to be on the floor, to be in the room, to be with in the space. And it's like, because the frequency, and it's so funny. I listen to people talk about their experience at the Eras tour, their experience at the Beyonce tour. And it's like, what they say most is that how good it felt to be in that space. And it's like that's frequency, that's energy. And the fact that, so we just, not you and I, but the collective still wants to try to believe that frequency and energy isn't a thing is just so wild to me. Cause I'm like, why do you think if you're around somebody who's in a bad mood, you're in a bad mood? Like, hello, so put yourself into a space. I always tell people, I'm like, don't pay me because of my paycheck. Don't pay me because of how much money I make. Pay me because of the frequency and the energy that I give you when I speak to you. If you feel something there, then yes, pay me. If you're just coming to me because you're like, oh, she makes a lot of money, then that's not a match. That's not a match. That's that soul thing we were talking about. Man, it's so real.
We could go all day. We are totally on the same page. I love it. And I think that people just have not grasped yet. They'll spend more for their phone and their TVs and their cars than they will to be in the environments where people are elevated. They're in an elevated state of consciousness. Yeah. That, to me, I could care less how many planes someone had. I don't care.
No.
I want to know, where's their consciousness?
Right.
What have they been through? What have they overcome?
Right.
That excites me.
I don't want to be in the room with a billionaire just because they have a lot of money. I want to be in the room with a billionaire because I want to know how they think. I want to know what their brain does. I want to know the kind of conversations that they're having. I mean, think about you think back to 1920s. Okay, let's put ourselves back to the 1920s. No TVs, no phones, no computers, no nothing, no screens. People like Hemingway, people like, Napoleon Hill, these like brilliant minds that just would hang out together in Paris in these like bars after hours. There's a reason why so much, like I just saw Oppenheimer for the first time. Have you seen Oppenheimer yet? Oh my gosh, go see that movie. You will love it. It's all about like, it's about like quantum mechanics, quantum physics, all the things. He's the guy that created the atom bomb, but like he hangs out with Albert Einstein. He hangs out with all these like brilliant minds. And it's like, there's a reason why people that come together in those kind of energy vortexes, those people change the world at the same frequency because they've just been in this space together. But to your point, because of technology, like I want to be recording this podcast in person right now, but because we have technology, it's easier for us to do it over Zoom. But if we're not ever putting ourselves in the rooms with the frequency and we're not ever willing to like go there, then we can't be surprised when we stay stuck in these patterns and these loops and we feel that like, oh, well, I can't do that. You want to know the quickest way to realize you can do something? Put yourself in the room with the person who has.
No, it's huge. It's everything. That and literally, I raised my kids in a small country town in Kansas. There was no one at my frequency there. Mm-mm. And it was sometimes very annoying, frustrating. I felt alone. Yeah. So I would pick up my books and I would hang out with, I read 1,000 books because that was what I could get close to. We didn't have as much access as we do now, right. To people, like you and I. But I remember years ago, back when Rich DeVos was alive, he founded and my mentor at the time was having him speak at this private event. And I paid $500 for this plate of food that I was going to go to this charity event just because I wanted to be in the environment with Rich. So I'm sitting in the front row and everybody else is like, they're just there. And I paid $500 for this plate and I couldn't even eat it. I'm just like watching him, everything that was coming out of his mouth. I was absorbing everything. And all of a sudden I see this woman standing behind and she was serving wine and she looked miserable. Like she looked so sad. And I thought to myself, what could be going on in her mind? Because right now I would pay to serve these people that were there just to hear their conversation. The mindset, right? I paid $500 for a plate. She probably had no idea that this was an opportunity of a lifetime for her. So anyway, I took that perception, went to the beach the next morning and created a story and wrote my second book from that about a girl named Pearl who had every, shit hit the fan and whatever. And anyway, it's a great book, but I was willing to fly across the country, pay $500 just to sit and listen to somebody who had changed millions of lives. Mm-hmm. And that, guys, that's what a lot of people are missing today. Yeah. That if you have that kind of drive, nothing will stop you. Right. All the right people will show up. The universe will literally bring people to you. Right. All the right answers.
Right. I drive 45 minutes to go to this yoga class. And this is like such a small scale, but it makes sense. Like this is what we're talking about. There's a yoga studio. It's like 45 minutes away. It's called Wild Heart. And the woman who owns it, her name's Mary Beth. She is like, you know how some yoga teachers, they own studios and they just kind of like spew out this like spiritual shit. And you just know that it's like not coming from a genuine, they're not practicing it. And you're like, you're a mess. But like, thank you for telling me that like, I need to get grounded. That is not who this girl, she practices what she preaches. She's our frequency. She's done this work. Like you can just tell in the way she speaks, in the way that she holds space, in the way that she supports the space, in the way that she forces people to see themselves. And I will drive 45 minutes to go to her class every Friday when she teaches. And every full moon, she does an outdoor like full moon class with like a sound bath at the end. I will drive to go to her. And I'm like, this is like, don't tell me that people won't pay you because they will pay you. They will love to pay you if you are walking in your own dharma.
Exactly. If you're giving them an experience that's unforgettable. And that is why I fly to LA from Florida to get my hair done a lot of times. The experience that I have.
Yes.
And so you know, that's the thing. I'm wanting to fly to you to go do this yoga class now. I mean,
you should come. You should come one of these full moons and we'll go.
Amazing. I love it. Oh gosh. Well, I love you.
I love you. Tell us, I want to know, like, obviously I'm going to be on Christy's show. She's on this show, but tell my listeners, where is the best place to find you? Like they just want to be in your aura, in your energy. Where's the best place to find you? Instagram, your website, like where should they come?
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can come to Naples anytime. We can
Come to
go
Naples.
Naples, not Italy, Italy, but Naples, Florida. But yes, they can find me on Instagram, Christy Dreiling Beauty, and my website, christydreiling.com. I have a vibrational love oil that is on my website that
It was
you
at
had
our
at your,
wedding. Yeah. It was
yeah,
at our wedding. Yeah. Everybody wore it at our wedding. It was amazing.
so beautiful. So yeah, you can find that on there. And I also have a really cool another company called Visualize Video that I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of listeners will love. And they're basically like your vision boards put into a video, but it's like a movie.
Mm.
So it's not the cheesy type that we've seen out there with some of the, the visualized board videos. This
Right.
is just, it's dreamy, it's magical, it's beautiful. So you can find that on there too, which is really, really cool. I love
Oh,
it.
I love that. Yeah. So, and don't worry, y'all, for spelling and everything, we're putting a link to her Instagram and her website in our show notes. So you can just click in the show notes to go and hang out with Christy. But you know what I was just thinking of? Our last thought is like when you were like these cheesy videos. So obviously The Secret is such a good book. And like, that's usually where everyone starts, right? Did you ever see the movie of The Secret? That was the
My
cheesiest
son,
movie ever.
but back then, sister, back then it wasn't.
It was life-changing back then. Yeah.
When I was like, when I first watched that, my son watched it 11 times when he was like 11 years old. Like,
Yep.
there was nobody speaking like that language.
And I'm not even talking about like, oh yeah.
But now looking at it, yes. But back then I was like, oh, it was like everybody.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I'm not even talking about like what it was saying. I was literally like, like how it like would travel through like the book and like the videography of that. I'm like, this is the cheesiest thing I've ever seen. But like, I mean, it's amazing. That book started it for me. Like that was the book that started it for me.
Even when Oprah really gave it some juice behind it. It was just like fun. I know for me, it was so life-changing for me because here I was in Kansas in nobody thought like I thought. So I was finally like, oh my God, I'm not weird.
Right. It was like validation.
Oh gosh. Yes. I'm somewhat normal. No, I'm not. But yeah, that's anyway. So, well, it's due another film. Like I loved What the Bleep, that was really deep.
Oh yeah.
Fabulous film, but I love Gaia for that reason. Gaia's,
Same.
Sometimes it's a little bit woo woo on there, but I love anything that challenges me to think differently. So,
the Sacred Geometry series on Gaia was like incredible. That series was so magic. Like I love Gaia TV. If you haven't watched Gaia TV, I'll put a link to it in our show notes as well. Like Gaia TV is awesome, especially if you are, I would say if you're on a spiritual journey, if you're interested in being we're all on a spiritual journey, but if you're conscious to your spiritual journey, Gaia TV is another really good resource for just kind of tapping into the unseen a little bit.
And Ram Dass's series on there is amazing. We've got him right here. Look at who I've got here on my, I've got Ram Dass, Wayne Dyer here.
Oh, there they are. Yeah. Okay. Well, friend, I love you. I think you're amazing. Y'all go check Christy out if you don't already. And I'm really excited about your course. I think, you know what, like, I also think too, not that you need this validation, but there's a lot of coaches out there, myself included, that have these like huge product suites. And like, there's, I've slimmed mine down a lot over the last year, but lots of different ways. I think that there's so much magic and like, why not just take everything, put it into one massive life-changing course and just be done with it and just sell that over and over and over and over and over again. A couple of my mentors do that and it's everything. So I think you're on the right path. Like, not that you needed that from me, but I think it's awesome.
Actually, I love that from you because I think you're a fucking genius. I've always tell you that. And I love your heart and I just love your soul. I love your soul.
You're such an abundant person. You are such an abundant person where you're like, more is more is more is more, like more love, more this. So why would you try to like cut yourself off and be like, well, that's too much for this program. Like that goes against everything you stand for. So I say, put it all in one and then just jack the price way up. So make sure if you want to be in her course, you go and purchase it now, because chances are next year it's going to be a wildly different price. So
there'll be millions of lives will be touched. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
I love you.
All right. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, everybody.
Bye.